The MrBeast member with basically zero haters.
From MrBeast's least important member
Chandler was actually our janitor.
to a man who's been called MrBeast's last hope. Born in Greenville, North Carolina, Chandler met MrBeast at a very early age.
That's MrBeast.
We played baseball together since we were 9, like in the same league. We knew of each other.
But the two weren't friends as they had different interests. Jimmy was obsessed with YouTube, while Chandler was obsessed with baseball.
From a kid, I wanted to play Major League Baseball.
By 2018, Chandler was a pitcher at Chowan University, and after a local news station called him Player of the Week, Chandler thought he was on track to become a professional.
You think there's a world where you would have been in the MLB if you kept going?
Yeah, in my head, I didn't think it was far off.
But above Chandler's name on the roster was a much more notable person, Tyler Conklin. Tyler was also a talented baseball player, but his other main focus was helping a growing YouTube channel.
So they were all baseball buds. You know, instead of the air buds, they're the baseball buds. And then now they're just like, you know, tickling adults with cash, taunting people. If you make this sumo wrestler laugh, I'll give you $1,000. Nah, he's up in his game. $10,000.
He knew Jimmy very well. Tyler calls me, and he's like, hey, we have a job. This guy just got fired. We need you to be like the replacement. I was like, yeah, I guess I need money.
Despite knowing nothing about the channel,
You had no idea what MrBeast was.
No.
Chandler passed the interview by offering to do whatever they needed, although it seems this somewhat backfired when Chandler found out the position he'd gotten.
Chandler was actually our janitor. We brought him
Wait,
on.
what?
Yeah, we brought
No
him
way.
on to just clean and stuff like that.
As the channel's 7th official employee, the job was best described as janitor deluxe.
I was the main cleaner guy, yeah. But I was also doing the jobs of other.
You were janitor deluxe.
Dude, I'm literally.
What do you think Chandler's job title is now? Like, what would... Because basically he just follows... He's kind of in the core gang, because Chris was there for a while. But I think I watched like a video with Chris, and Chris is the guy who was basically Jimmy's best friend. And now he's like a woman I'm not sure, but you know, I hope that he's happy is all that I can say. But what is Chandler's from MrBeast? Official job title. I'm gonna guess like a joust. Maybe like a professional. So he's considered a producer or a creative director. Okay.
doing everything except be in front of the camera.
Although despite having a pretty small group, Chandler barely said anything.
He was very shy, like super shy. He was so terrified to even talk to me.
Luckily, Chandler instead still had sporting ability, as it substituted his shyness during his first appearance in this iconic upload. The goal of the video was to break basketball records, in which Chandler spoke just 8 basic.
And this is like the prime YouTube era. Like prime YouTube era was 2015, 16, where you had like David Dobrik and PewDiePie, like everyone's, that was when they were just making tons of money. And it's crazy to think that in just a small town in North Carolina, MrBeast was made.
words. Here's the record and here's where we're doing. Despite his limited dialogue, Chandler broke a record for the world's longest behind the back shot. It's weird to think that Chandler holds a world record. So this is how Chandler joined the crew. Well, kind of. Chandler didn't show his face for a year and a half after, only occasionally being heard behind the camera.
I feel like a bagel would be kind of waterproof anyway.
Yeah.
That would be until this video here, when Chandler became a MrBeast contestant purely because they had no one else.
What made them decide to put you in?
There was uneven people. You cut a circle into fourths, and they just only had 3.
They had 3 people and they were like, who do we grab? They're looking around and you were just there.
As mentioned, the challenge featured a circle cut into 4 quarters.
I remember this video, and I'm pretty sure they might show it, but I'm pretty sure Chandler, he won a Tesla or something like that, like a MrBeast Tesla. And that was when, like, Teslas were the shit. Like, if you had a Tesla, I mean, you know, it was what was up. It was the talk of the town. A car that could drive itself, that looked kind of futuristic with the doors going up in the air, you know?
And the last person to leave won $10,000. Each contestant had a $100 budget.
Or maybe he left because he's always been the type of person, maybe this was when Chris won it, but always been the type of person to, I don't know, he was kind of almost like a wimp. But he's been with MrBeast for such a long time. He's honestly like the GOAT. Like, if you think of a friend, you think of Chandler.
It's through which Chandler became likable, but only because he was also kind of stupid. While Chris
What snacks would you take for like a challenge like this? Because I think this one was just like last to leave the circle. Kind of the original last to leave challenges. And now he's made a whole game show about it. I would personally go, if they've got $100, I mean, it's almost like a little field trip. You get the Oreos, the Doritos, like you're almost gonna have to flex a little bit. I remember whenever I'd go on a school trip, I always knew that somebody got a little something. Like, I remember I used to get so excited because I used to never really get to pack my lunch as a kid. And so we went to like this place called like Biz Town. We would learn, and I was in like 2nd grade, and we would learn how to become an adult and like how fire detectors worked and how to put batteries in things. And I remember my dad, he would like just like the night before, I would say, "Hey, I got a field trip." And when you're on a field trip, you gotta have some lunch. They tell you gotta have some lunch on you. So, you know, I got like some spicy ham sandwich, you know, just some stuff, nothing like crazy. But I remember when we were at lunch, people were stacked. Like it was like a Chinese buffet, or just like, you know, a little kid buffet. I don't, well, but yeah, it was really cool. So I think that I would do something like that. Make sure to have some protein. What's a good camping? I'm a big cereal guy. I'd have like some oats. Maybe some oatmeal. Trying to think, like beef jerky, that kind of stuff. And like a purple Fanta.
Chris, Tyler, and Garrett spent their $100 on tents and beds. Chandler instead
Oh, and I guess, yeah.
simply bought a camping chair,
Chandler, that was the poorest decision ever. I'm talking about buying a fucking chair.
spending the rest of his money on snacks.
Chandler spent like $6 on fruit roll-ups, but $5 on his chair.
Oreos, that's gonna help me survive.
Hey, I got beef
Yeah.
jerky too.
Garrett mattress, Chris tent, Tyler tent, Chandler gushes.
What did your money go to, man?
I got gushers.
Chandler was therefore ready to leave instantly.
So
I bet his back hurts so bad. Because you've got to lay down. And you already know if you're laying down on the grass, like freaking spiders are going to be all over you. And then, you know, like Jimmy's going to be over there and just like zoom in on a spider crawling on him.
Chandler said he really doesn't.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
Kind of want to do this anymore.
Chandler's now trying to sell off his snacks. $30 a snack.
This is a genuine question, but do you think that Chris, like, people think that areas or whenever they get into a certain point of their life, the people around, like surrounding them, influence them a lot. And I know that Chris was married and like had a kid and stuff. So I just wonder, like, when was that transition? Because I'm not against anyone transitioning in that way, but I wonder if it was just such a, like, being on camera and knowing that he was in the public eye, and if he held on to maybe being bisexual during that time, that could be, create a lot of mental discomfort. Why did Chris leave? And Chris leave from MrBeast. Because it's got to be tough. Not that tough, to be honest. Like, that's like a dream job. If you're one of Mr. Beast's henchmen, then you've got it made. That's all I gotta say. That's such a cool job. Such a cool job. So all right, let's read a little bit of this. So this is on Chris. So in July of 2024, and there's going to be a lot of reading. In July 2024, Chris announced that they would permanently step away from all things MrBeast and social media to focus on family and mental health. The announcement followed allegations that Chris had sent inappropriate messages to a 13-year-old when they were 20 years old. Interesting. Chris denied the claims of grooming, stating that while some of their jokes were bad, edgy jokes, they had not exploited anyone. In response, MrBeast said that he had become aware of serious allegations and had removed Chris from his company and any association with his brand while the investigation was happening. To prevent the negativity and allegations from impacting the hundreds of people who work on MrBeast's channel, a mutual decision from MrBeast teams considering the seriousness of the situation to focus on personal matters, family, mental health, and stepping away from public activity. Interesting. So he was 20 at the time when they found this. So, uh, I mean, I'm glad that it was all kind of settled in a good way. Um, but I think that everyone will kind of miss the whole group of guys because seasons change and MrBeast is huge now and doing great things. So, that's why I'll always think about like the OG people that were with MrBeast whenever he started out.
Says like he's a freaking airplane.
Yet he managed to outlast both Chris and Garrett whilst delivering some stupid but funny lines. Chandler eventually lost to Tyler after 36 hours, but with comments like "I wanted Chandler to win" and "Chandler in more videos," people demanded that he return.
Yeah, people really liked him. And
Oh, wow.
And Chandler all of a sudden just starts popping in more and more videos, and people are like, "We like Chandler. We like Chandler."
He'd therefore bring his one-liners to the very next challenge.
Can I throw my poop this time?
Sure, actually. Go ahead.
Although after again losing, something became obvious.
That's so weird because I just thought that Chandler was just friends with MrBeast instead of it just kind of being acquaintance. An acquaintance of MrBeast. But for the I guess whenever they do the challenges, whenever it's like last to not touch something, I feel like the strat would be you're gonna have to go with setting, I want to say like a, I would get some tape, bro, and just wrap whatever thing I can and just have my hand kind of like this. Because I think any way that you go, it's not necessarily through the day, it's through the night. But what do you think that they're even thinking about? Like, that's such a long time. Like, some of these challenges go for 3 days.
Chandler was terrible at winning these challenges, so much they introduced his family just to help him win.
Since Chandler lost the last two, his dad came to show Chandler how it's done.
Chandler's dad Todd became a regular in the videos, also being Chandler's lifeline whenever he needed help.
So Chandler's dad said if he felt like not doing it, then give him a call and he'd motivate him.
Which turned into random contestants also using Todd's advice.
I'm feeling great, but I think we should call your dad.
Yeah, you need some support.
I need some support.
Todd's description further suggested Chandler came from a Christian household, and that Chandler was part of a very big family, most of whom featured in Last to Leave Ramen Noodle Pool Wins 20,000. Very big family suggested Chandler came from a Christian
Husband to an amazing and godly woman, father of
household,
6.
and that Chandler was part of a
6
very
children.
big family, most of whom featured in Last to Leave Ramen.
Interesting. So, like, just because Chandler was a janitor for MrBeast, being able to have the opportunity to win something like that. It's like being on a game show, you know? But instead of you only having one shot, and a lot of people say it's who you know, not what you know. In this scenario, probably true. I wonder who won that video. Last to Leave Ramen Noodle Pool wins $20,000. Oh, that was 4 years ago.
Ramen Noodle Pool wins $20,000.
This episode is a little different because it's all Chandler.
They do one with hot sauce. Ah! I would just be in there. Your body would start burning. And you, like, no one's gonna... You're gonna have that one person, like, especially now, anybody, dude, you could smother a chicken wing in worms, and if MrBeast was like, if you eat this chicken wing, I'll give you $100,000, and people will just sell their lives for Beast money, and I don't blame them, but it's partly, I think it's like partly the fame and also the money, because if you're in a MrBeast video, millions of people are watching you.
Family. Those are his sisters. This is his brother.
As a gimmick, Chandler's brother Zach became a member of Mr. Bro, winning way more challenges than Chandler ever could. In fact, more than a year had passed since Chandler was first hired, and he still hadn't won a—
Whatever happened to Mr. Bro? Because I feel like that just kind of flopped. Like, it's like saying, it's like being, like, even Stephen Curry has a brother, Stephen Curry. And even though Stephen is a great basketball player, he's compared to one of the greatest basketball players. And so there's just nothing you can do. You're in the same space as the greatest YouTuber, at least in the United States. India YouTube is even bigger there. So
even one single challenge.
He's competed in all of these challenges you see on the screen, and he lost every single one of them.
Memes began to—
see, that's what I'm saying. He's just a wimp. He's an OG GOAT, but maybe that was the strat. Because you're getting more screen time, thus there's more of an opportunity for, yes, people to not like you, but he's been called back to many, 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 many different videos. So, I just think that he knows that he's going into work for these videos, and he's getting paid to participate in the video, and then him winning is like a bonus. But it's like these people that fill out, at least in that day, probably Google Sheet forms, they're like willing to sacrifice anything. Like they are in a position where they're quitting work for these challenges. And it makes sense. It's just like when you have, say for instance, Tiger Woods, and it's just something about the unknown of success. Like Tiger shaped golf forever. And whenever people would ever say anything about golf in the, 80s to the late 80s, whenever he was like playing in the pro amateur tournaments and stuff, Tiger Woods, he just shaped golf. And he is one of the greatest of all time in the sport of golf. And his son, Charlie, you can just see that he doesn't have the same. It's almost like if you're passionate about a sport, first of all, you're gonna be introduced to it in some way, especially with the media. There's so many examples. You could say Arch Manning, and like people put a nostalgia on great sports players' children, and it's almost to the children's downfall that they are the son of one of the greatest to play their sports. But the other argument is, yes, but they have a lot more opportunities to, work with some of the greatest in the world and train. But they just, it's that one thing, it's that grit, I would say. And so, yeah, like I was saying with Chandler, it makes sense why he would give up so easily, because he's technically getting paid. And whenever it's 3 a.m. and you're off the clock, then I could see it not being worth getting that bonus.
Spread about Chandler failing to win.
When Chandler drops out of the challenges, you're in the end game now.
Even our fridge can make fun of Chandler. Look, Chandler trying to win a challenge. Losing on purpose so we can make memes out of it.
Although it turns out this was gold for the MrBeast channel.
MrBeast gaining a lot of traction at the same time as these challenges taking off, as the same time as Chandler joining the crew. Now all of a sudden, challenges is kind of, you know, MrBeast never did challenges. For a little bit, that's kind of all it was.
As mentioned by Carl, Chandler being in the videos came with a massive increase in MrBeast viewership as challenges became the channel's main.
And I think that he has that type of charisma though. Like he has the personality of if a grandma were to see him, they would want him to be their lost grandchild. Like not even related. It's hard not to like Chandler. And I just think that he wasn't like drawn to the camera, you know, and wouldn't really talk that much, but whenever an opportunity or somebody teed him up for something, he always bombed that, you know. He always hit it hard and did it well. In the greatest way. So I think that it was probably MrBeast having a collective group of people made that channel stand out in a huge way. And you never know, a janitor can make your company's stock go way up.
Focus. Still, Jimmy offered extra incentives to help Chandler win.
If he wins this one, he gets 50 grand. Everyone else only gets 20 grand because like Chandler never wins.
Leading to his first ever victory 13 months after starting.
What are you gonna buy with all this money?
I don't know. I've never had this much before.
Chandler then won the next challenge, and another after that, before he'd face a serious problem. Chandler was still
one of the worst ones that I saw of a last to leave challenge was the roller coaster, because that's just the nausea. And it's not only the nausea, but you're going to be sitting there on that roller coaster and you're going to have contestants that are just going to do whatever it takes to win. So they're going to be hurling next to you. It's going to smell like probably puke. Everyone is miserable. Yeah, the nausea. Oh my gosh. That video made me sick. And I can't believe that he won. So maybe it's like because he's quiet, and this doesn't necessarily correlate, but that maybe that was to his advantage, that he's better and knows his body more than sometimes people are expressing themselves, but they don't fully know who they are. They're trying to be something that they're not.
Just a part-time employee, as professional baseball was still the main dream. That would be until Jimmy gave him an ultimatum.
They were like, hey, we don't need part-time people anymore. Either you are full-time or you go back to college. And I was like, oh, shoot. So I had to make a decision to either just kill my dream and go work for MrBeast, which I did.
Chandler therefore announced that he'd dropped out of college, which turned out to be his smartest choice, as exactly 1 year later he'd win the private island. Chandler went on to sell it for roughly $800,000.
Only reason I couldn't keep the island, guys, is because of taxes. The government will make you pay taxes on something you could get for free. And I didn't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to pay on taxes.
That's fair. I appreciate the move. Because at first, whenever they gave out the island, they never really talked about the taxes. It was like, oh, you get a free island. But the sure amount of talks, like the government's going to be, especially on land, they're so stingy. And yeah, if I can take, and then you got to go through that whole process. So it's like, is it even worth it? In a sense. And that's the thing that's crazy about game shows. There'll be game shows where you'll win, say if you win like 25,000, you're gonna, especially because you know that that's probably gonna bump you up in a tax bracket that you're gonna be paying a lot more taxes anyways, because the average American salary is like 40,000 or something like that. So it'll bump you up until like whatever percentage of that it'll be, so they don't talk about the amount of tax. Like he'll probably get, I mean, it's still a lot of money, but like 17, if that.
Although despite the impressive windfall, people noticed he was appearing in the content less frequently. Is Chandler doing okay? He looked sick in the latest hide-and-seek video, and he seems to be less and less a part of any of the content. Did he go through something personal, or is he just not as interested in the channel?
And I think that maybe that was one of the things that could have gotten Chris to leave. Is stuff like this. Like, it's just whenever you're in the public eye, people that you don't even know, like they're checking in on you, but it's more like for the hype of, okay, something's wrong or it's a negative thing.
I've noticed that too. I don't know if it's a personal issue or it's cause of the dynamic of the group. A different post read, after seeing less and less of an appearance of Chandler and more of Carl, I start to think that maybe Chandler is either leaving or he's just not good enough. At around the same time, Chandler supposedly uploaded a video titled "Why I Left MrBeast Videos," which explained, "I've left the MrBeast team due to complications with content policy. I had a great time making videos with everyone, and I would like to share with MrBeast Videos," which explained, "I've left the MrBeast team due to complications with content policy. I had a great time making videos with everyone, and I would like to share some of my favorite moments from the channel, although this was totally fake." On the other hand, people began to clickbait that Chandler had gotten fired.
So Chandler from MrBeast has allegedly been fired for selling the private eye.
Isn't there videos? I mean, I'm sure everywhere, everyone kind of uses MrBeast for clickbait, popularity, and like you'll see videos and it'll have like MrBeast played Minecraft with me, or I think that it was like Ludwig posted one of MrBeast's videos on his YouTube that MrBeast just made and didn't post. And I'm sure that there was a deal and that, you know, MrBeast was aware, but people with any type of person, honestly, like you can clip farm and get, you know, revenue off of that. But MrBeast is like the powerhouse. Like everyone, you see it everywhere. Anything with MrBeast in it, and it's kind of crazy. It's insane.
That MrBeast gifted to him. Watch to the end, this is crazy.
Although the reality was much more depressing. Chandler had sadly died. YouTube star and associate of MrBeast, Chandler Hallow, shot dead whilst filming stunt for video. The article featured a picture of Chandler just a few weeks before his death and was supposedly written by Mark Savage, who was certainly surprised to see it. This is totally fake. I never wrote such a story, although Chandler then confirmed the headline was true, tweeting, "Just found out I died."
Oh my gosh. And that's what I'm saying. And people will click on that. They'll click on that and they'll read that and then they'll freak out and call their great aunt. And their great aunt won't even know who you're like, it's just crazy. They anything with MrBeast, people will read and think it's not necessarily think it's true, but will click on it.
So when I saw you last night, it must have been a ghost. Obviously, Chandler hadn't died, as only 4 months later he'd announced he'd gotten married, although this had come with its own bit of drama. The photos had everyone from MrBeast's crew, except for perhaps the most notable person.
He was probably just busy.
Why didn't MrBeast come to Chandler's wedding? A video talking about the drama gained 11 million views.
Chandler from MrBeast got married, but MrBeast himself did not appear at his friend's wedding.
Until MrBeast himself addressed why he couldn't come. Adorable, wish I didn't get sick. Judging by other comments such as, "My life wish is to be the same kind of man that Chandler is. Getting married only made him more respected," bolstered by something else that Chandler started doing.
Yeah, and I think that it's one of those things, especially in guy groups, that you're with your buddies, and a lot of times growing up, like in college and stuff, you're going to bars, you're meeting women, all that stuff. And whenever you get married and settle down in a sense, um, with the type of stuff that he was doing, just like making videos with the boys and stuff, it gives you another responsibility, um, you know, towards creating a family, creating a life with somebody else. So, it just kind of adds a respectable thing in your life. Um, and everybody kind of knows that when you go to a wedding.
After 1 full year with 0 TikTok uploads, Chandler posted the following video.
Recently, the Lord has put it on my heart to start sharing, some of the things that I've learned, and I'm gonna start doing daily verses.
As mentioned, he planned on reading daily Bible verses, many of which have gone extremely viral. This genuinely takes so much courage to do in your position. W. Chandler. Even those who aren't religious seem to love what Chandler's doing. However, there's another type of comment that's rampant through his videos.
And I know that it's interesting because I think that it's great. I'll say it like this. MrBeast as itself is more of a company now, and it is not just kind of how it used to be where it's just like a couple of friends necessarily thinking about ideas and just doing it and randomly giving $10,000 to a homeless man, hoping that it blows up. It is very methodical, and a lot of subcontracting work to make these things happen. So I wonder, because he was with MrBeast so long, that or I guess because it is a kind of like a corporate thing now where there's tons and tons of employees below, like in the MrBeast organization, that they've kind of had that religion's okay in the workspace. And yeah, I think that it's great.
Why aren't you on MrBeast anymore? Why did Chandler leave MrBeast? Did he leave MrBeast or not? Which is being repeated in many viral videos. Chandler quitting MrBeast? Where is Chandler from MrBeast? Chandler officially quits MrBeast team.
They'll just say this over and over again. Because they've shuffled through a lot of people through the years. And I know with listening to a podcast about MrBeast that he was truly really the only person who genuinely cared about just making the best videos ever possible. And he went all in. And he even talked about his mother crying at night because she was worried that he was going to lose it all. And because she works with all the finances and the bookkeeping and stuff. So, yeah.
The videos talk about Chandler in this video here, during which Chandler seems extremely bored while filming and ends up leaving the challenge before it's even finished.
Where has he been and what is he doing?
He definitely hasn't left the crew, as he only just featured in the world's deadliest obstacle course, but people are definitely noticing that he's appearing less frequently.
Well, he's also done it for such a long time, and he's seen it evolve, and MrBeast is just on his own schedule now. And he's a married man. It's just like the whole group just got older. But W video.
Convocou, talvez cê tá. O popo é vapo, vapo no setor, é vapo, vapo do vapor. Vapo, vapo no setor, é vapo, vapo do vapor.